Coming from somebody that has a machine and an MPC, I'm coming to realize that I think Akai kind of won the battle, but I think machine won the war. Native Instruments won the war, and Akai won the battle. Because like before, of course, there was always Akai in the beginning. In the beginning, there was always Akai, and pretty much basically all you had was an MPC or a rolling drum machine. Of course, the TR 808s, 909s, Lin drum, stuff like that. Like, in the beginning, it was stuff like it was competition, I guess. But the new competition has become Native Instruments and Akai became the new age competition, and I can remember that when Native Instruments made the machine, the first machine, that it was something new, and I think a lot of MPC users was trying out the machine, and then they were realizing that wow, this is good. It's very intuitive, very quick. You know, you could work a little quicker. Of course, it was a controller, and it's still a controller. Of course, you got the Machine Plus now, but when when the first machine came out, it was something new and it was refreshing. So a lot of pretty much like Akai had to like go back to the drawing board, because at that point they had the MPC Touch, and then I believe that's how that they had to make the Renaissance. I believe they had to make the Renaissance, right? So when the Renaissance came out, it was the retro, the original look and everything, and of course all the producers, the old school producers, were appreciating it, because it was pretty much the same thing, but it was in a controller form. So yeah, so the controller business was running it, the controllers and the controller business was running it, and we were introduced to all the lights, the lights, light up pads, and pads were starting to light up. The gear was starting to be brighter for nighttime experience. Of course, that came from like the DJ controllers. So, of course, you had Native Instruments making the tractors, and yeah, so the lights started to come in, and then of course, the MPC Akai Touch was out. The Akai MPC Touch was out, and yeah, so pretty much if you fast forward to now, I mean, or a little bit after the MPC Renaissance, then you had Machine MK2, and then you had the MK3. But the Machine Studio, which was kind of like the first one, that was the beast right there that had Akai kind of like starting to go back to the drawing board, So pretty much like the first touchscreen MPC, when that came out, it was like the starting of the MPC lives. Yeah, it was kind of like the starting. So yeah, and basically by the MK3, when Machine had the MK3 version, and we had more lights and everything, and of course they had the scenes, yeah, the scenes and the launching, so that was, those were game changers in the machine software. So software wise, I think at one point, yeah, Native Instruments had it with the machine software, but of course eventually I started stepping up and started making a lot of controllers, and then once the Live One came out, that was like the new staple. Live One came out, and then you had the MPC One, and then at some point, of course, they made like another MPC Studio, because the first studio was a little bit like around the same time or after the MPC Renaissance, and then once they made the studio, I think they made another studio last year, MPC Studio, and yeah, so Machine had, eventually, what was that, like around 2020 or something like that? They had the MP, the Machine Plus. Yeah, so, you know, so Akai was pretty much more ahead of going back to standalone. So Native Instruments had to make the Machine Plus, and I guess the users that had the Machine Plus wasn't really, I guess all the glitches and bugs and stuff like that, and I guess the memory, like all that stuff, it wasn't that great. But yeah, in time, basically, Akai started to just drop a lot of things, and they just kept going and going and going. And as far as the standalone game, MPC has it. They won that battle, and they won the battle of, I guess, dropping products like like mixtapes and iPhones. But yeah. So, but where things took a turn was that the fact that Native Instruments has great sounds. I like I actually like their expansion sounds. Like their expansion packs are dope. I guess Machine MPC, like Akai has like nice sample packs, but I never dived into them. Like, because I found that Native Instruments, sample packs and stuff like that, like they were more affordable, and then you would get like sales where you could cop like 5 of them for $100. So that was great. That was great for me. So I ended up with a whole bunch of Machine expansions, but like Native Instruments sounds like, yeah, their VSTs and their sound libraries is just dope. It's hands down dope, and basically that's where they won the war, because Akai eventually they had to implement and do a deal where they could sell, they could just convert over some of their machine stuff and everything, and yeah, and I think that was a sign that when Native Instruments was gonna go into insolvency, then yeah, basically there was behind the scenes planning to join forces in music. So yeah, so in my opinion, or from my experience of having both owning like drum machines from both companies, like groove boxes and everything, and seeing the difference, is that yeah, Native Instruments wins the war, because Native Instruments sounds and the quality and everything, and they want it and they need it, and that's a fact. And Akai with the NPCs, they won the battle, so, but it will be dope to see like a collaboration of the two, kind of like in hardware form, maybe even software, or maybe they just might make something that's like both of them at once. But we'll see, or maybe not. Maybe Machine just needs to drop another machine, and but also where I think Machine won in terms of like having 2 split screens, so you could see certain things in a different way, like separated. Yeah, like the one screen on the MPC is cool, but I think that was a dope like way of creating, But anyway, this is Dame the Musician, and I'm signing off again. Peace.